welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Now we move straight to trending stories, and before we do that, let's talk about what we discussed earlier. I mean, cybersecurity. So many people tend to, overlook some things. I was guilty of some of the things he said. Keeping one password for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, it's really, and also having same password for. I mean, it's not like I have same password across board, but 2, 3, 4 different applications I have the same password, and about 2, 3 other ones the same password. But it's just like that. I think almost everyone can be said to be guilty of that.
That's why we need to have these conversations, right? We need to, help ourselves understand what we should do better, right? Like if I didn't know this, until recently when he spoke, I know people who you can almost guess their password if you know their
right. If you know their names, their date of birth,
you can almost tell this is. So some people don't like hard life; they love the soft life. Well, the soft life can become a problem to you. It can make your life hard if you don't mind these things. That's why we need to have.
There was a temporary software I was to use, I think, a few days ago. So I wanted to use. I think even some applications and softwares now are now against soft passwords. They will tell you it is too easy.
So
try a new one. Put characters, numbers, alphabets. Just make it complicated because they want to protect you as much as they want to protect themselves. Because if you are well protected, their own software or applications are also protected. So once I tried a very straightforward password, and they are like, no, you can't use this one. You have to try a new password. So I had to create a new password entirely. And my fear was that I might not remember the password because I have so many passwords to think about.
If you just open the mind of many Nigerians.
My takeaway, you must have a password manager where you keep all your passwords, and that one too is passworded. The one that you really have to be worried about is the password to the password manager. Once you have that, you are okay.
Let me add to what you've said. It's become imperative to have this knowledge now that technology has advanced. With the advancement of technology comes the infiltration of other, so as they develop this technological equipment, facilities, and all of these things that we're
people will look for the different ways. There's always a lacuna.
A loophole somewhere. They'll find a way to plug and but I think it's very important that we have this kind of things so that you don't wake up. I remember one day, this is a personal story. My mom called me and she was like, "Anu, did you request for something?" I said, "I did not, mommy. If anybody calls you again in this life and requests for something, please don't do it." It's not me. So by the time I was telling mommy, guess what? You know what they say, Otilo. so mommy was telling us that. So we needed to go to the bank. We needed to get a guy who is a what do you call those people? All these technological savvy kind of people. I think it's cybersecurity guy. Yeah. So he helped mommy to do some firewall protection and some other stuff because obviously, so the people are the receiving end of these things. I think the targets are people. Yes, so they find
prey
a way
on their vulnerability.
Exactly. So they tell them, just send me this and this. Mommy, you've won something. Mommy, you can never win something you did not play for.
Right.
But many Nigerians will not. If you didn't play, like if my ogas didn't play bet, they will not get the money from bet. I'm saying that because if some people just want to get any money, congratulations, Anu. Where are you calling from? I'm calling from Kiniko.
Especially when you stake on basketball. I mean,
what's that? I'm not privy to that information. But anyway, it's just the same way we should understand that what you did not sow, you should not reap. Even if it becomes like it's real, sometimes just give it away. Don't stress it.
I think the most important thing is, you get messages like, "Oh, you have won so." I mean, you have not played anything. You have not staked on anything. So why would you win what you have not played? So it's very important that, I mean, Yorubas, there's a usual saying in Yoruba. I will say it in Yoruba and then, coin it in English. I mean, whatever it is you are doing, no matter how much you like money, just be in charge of your whatever it is you are doing. I mean, be in charge. You shouldn't like money too much that you forget that you are probably going astray. I mean, that should be there should be a cap. To where you push yourself to when it comes to money. But moving on to Trendwatch.
I wanted to say before we move on, but just quickly, stake your stake before you win your wins.
That's very important. That's very important. And you have to talk to Michael about that in case you want to train. If you want to train about that particular one, stake your stake and win your win. That is very important. But moving on, let's go to the world of AI. It's about tech today actually, and Albania's AI minister Diella pregnant with 83 babies. I mean, that's quite massive. Albania became the first country around the world recently to appoint an AI as a minister in a cabinet that has human beings in it. So she became the first AI minister across the world, and what happened is that there is news that she's pregnant. And let me go into details.
Yes, give us some details.
Let me go into details. In a world first twist, Albania's artificial intelligence AI minister Diella is set to give birth to 83 virtual assistants, one for each ruling socialist party. Now, Prime Minister Rama announced that the development at the Berlin Global Dialogue Conference, saying the children will serve as digital aides during parliamentary sessions. Each one will serve as an assistant, keeping a record of everything that happens and suggesting responses to members of the parliament. Okay, so Rama also says that these children will have the knowledge of their mother. He added that AI offspring will help MPs with daily tasks until 2026. If you go for coffee and forget to come back to work, this child will tell you what was said when you were not in the hall and who you should counterattack.
This is a big deal. You know why it's a big deal? Because I saw a clip of somebody in China that went to a restaurant that was AI powered completely. So from the other, but you'll probably meet one person or two, but every other person you interface
automated
with is, so you say a bot will just come to your table.
What would you like
what would you like for today? And then you say, I need a wuro and a four. And then it says, thank you, your request has been processed. And then it goes back. And then it brings the plate literally
to you.
There's a line connected. It brings the plate to you. It brings your coffee, like I'm staring at my coffee like this. It brings it to your very face. And then you get to take it yourself. No, now this is the case. A lot of improvement is coming on board. But this also begs the question that, will AI displace people? Because if we have AI serving tables, the job that most people depend on, what happens to those people who depend on?
If AIs are becoming assistants to MPs and becoming ministers, it shows that a time will come that will be virtually ruled in some countries, especially maybe it will start with Albania anyway. I don't think that will happen in Nigeria anytime soon. But the thing is, when I mentioned that 83 babies, people might think, oh, but then they are virtual babies anyway, so you have to relax.
Yeah, because obviously some will say in a world where some people are already looking for babies, how can you have 83 babies inside of your stomach?
Inside of you.
How big is your stomach?
And then I think it will come to an era where we will have lazy thinkers on the floor of the house. I mean, what's your responsibility when the simplest of your thinking is done for you by an AI? I mean, the simplest task you should do by yourself is done by an AI. It has gotten to a stage where when you are not on seat, you have just stepped out to take coffee and you are back, and then there was a motion moved, and it was moved in your absence. It tells you what was said, and then if someone had an opinion different to what you would have, said while you were not on seat, it will tell you, please counter so person who says so thing in your absence. I mean, well, in a way, it has simplified legislation, but in a way, it has made it more complex. Now, why would human beings be available right on their seats, and then the only thing they do is to just sit there, AI does the job? I mean, to get to a stage where, some people are already afraid that AI will take their jobs. I mean, computers will take their jobs, and it is happening. You remember there was a time during the 90s, we had bankers with a lot of papers on their desks, on their tables, and then the time came where computers were done. So people who were file assistants, who were carrying files in the banking hall, they were retrenched. One way or the other, they were retired. Whether you like it or not, you have to go, because nobody needs you to carry papers. All that is needed is for a computer to be powered every morning, and then jobs are done. They are transferred from one. Networking has made it so easy. It is transferred from one system to the other. You don't even need to stand from your seat before you mail someone to get an assignment done for you. Probably sign it virtually, send it back to you, and then you move it to the next person. So it has been simplified one way or the other, but that still doesn't mean that. See, no matter how big an AI is, it still needs to be prompted. Someone still has to be at the back end. But the only thing is, instead of 4 or 5 people doing that job, it might just be one person taking that responsibility. So it has not taken away the job, it has reduced the job. Now,
let's see it from this way, because there are different ways to see issues like this. You might want to come from the angle of people to say, I hope this does not displace the work of people. But it can also come from the angle of, say, it can make our lives easier. Because
and make you better as an individual.
It depends on, so let's see it as a way to say, okay, how can we better some things that we don't have that are working well? How can we make it better with AI? How can we put AI to good use, to make the best of this particular. I think it's something that many African countries have not really woken up to. Right. And it might take some time, it might take a while for us to get there, but we'll get there. Which because I'm a strong proponent of the African state. I believe there's something coming for us, something big that will happen someday, somehow, for us in the country. Now, I'm also saying that sometimes we just need to give credit to those people who will not sleep, who will not wait, who would not tire to ensure that something new, some innovation is coming out every day. Because where do we, if we start thinking about these kind of things, then we can also say, okay, what are the things we can do that will strike global conversations? What are the things we can also bring that will be an African initiative, but that will be loud enough? It could be technology too. Thank God, we have amazing technological people in the country. We have smart developers, all of this back-end, front-end developers in the country that are doing excellently well. But a lot of them also work for international companies, which is a question. Remotely. Now, what if we pump some money into that particular sector to say, let's get something for Nigeria, even if it's just to have enough data? Because I've always said again and again, one of the big problems we have in this country is lack of data. So if you say you want to do anything, any reform, anything in Nigeria, you need data. Even in the world, you need data. So, but we don't have this data. Unfortunately, most of the data we have, the database we have, are not even ours. Sometimes you see the World Bank, sometimes you see some international bodies having data that we do not have, we are not privy to. And you ask the question, of course we know they have people who work for them in the country. But again, when can we make this the best use of AI? When can we make the best use of this in the technological advancements in life and ensure that we use it to the good or the betterment of this country, Nigeria?
You see, before we go shortly, when you see advanced countries coming up with something new on a daily basis, you can but love them for what they are doing, and that is because they have made continuous research part of their routine, and they don't just research. Researches are being funded on a daily basis. It's an investment, because when the result comes out, it makes you stand out, and you are going to reap, get multiple effect of whatever it is you have invested in, in the research. One of the challenges our lecturers, students are facing in Nigeria is there's no funding for research. And you spoke about Nigeria relying heavily on data from so many research organizations abroad. It's because we have refused to fund research in the country. The Bureau of Statistics is there. They do basically research. And they ask people questions. Oh, what exactly? How do you think we get research about, of course, result about what inflation looks like in the country and at what percentage? It's because they go through this research. But can we just stop doing this on a monthly basis and then do a weekly assessment of what the economy looks like? It requires funding. Do they get funded that much? I don't think so. Now, if you go to institutions, there are so many brilliant minds across board that can actually go into research and get things done. Will they be funded to get all this? Most of them rely heavily on international grants. They rely heavily on grants that might not even come. So most of them have written letters to the government and they say, oh, look, we have an idea to do this, but we need to go through research and see how best this can be carried on. And this is one of the reasons why education has really not moved forward in this part of the country. But going back to Albania this morning, let's take some comments from...
So taking the first comment, it's Tega Dominic says, Abi rapture don't happen.
Well, actually, that's what happens when you fail to read the body of the story. Probably thought, they are actual babies, but they are not actual babies. They are AI babies. Then Castromento says, who's their daddy? Well, that's a question we have to ask the Albanian Prime Minister.
Hapiuko's comedy says, this one don't pass that India and Nigeria match story.
99. People are so funny. And Bella Explore says, who will pay their tuition fees, their school fees by? Well, it's another question.
No, Obey Lino G. What's this? Sorry if I didn't call your name well. Not be me, una go give Edeko.
You know, another one says, "Una no watch Terminator." That's where we are going. You know, people who have a series of comments on social media, but it is important and pertinent that you know that these are not actual babies. Actually, they are AI babies. They will have the mind of the original AI. They can think alike, think the same way, or maybe better in some cases. But then they are just virtual assistants to MPs on the floor of the House in Albania. And this will be the convenient point to draw the curtains of on today's edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. All I want to say to you this morning is that you have to stay hygienic on social media. Your cyber hygiene is very, very important. Take your cyber security seriously, just like myself here. Samson Balogun is my name. Let's meet again tomorrow on another fresh edition of this show. Bye for now.
And I would say invest in knowledge so we can have AI babies in Nigeria someday, somehow, especially for the tech guys. Thank you very much for doing this. My name is Anulu Akpo Edowu. It's been a wonderful time with you this morning. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.